Welcome to the online public involvement meeting for Project 5752-00-02/72 on Wisconsin Highway 58 in Richland and Sauk counties from Lee Lake Bridge to Wisconsin Highway 33. This is a list of people who are working on this project. Their contact information will be on the last slide of this presentation, which will include their emails and phone numbers, as well as the address of the Wisconsin Department of Transportation Southwest Region Office in Madison. Feel free to contact them with any comments, questions, or concerns regarding this project. The presentation will follow the outline shown here. The proposed project along Wisconsin Highway 58 begins at Lee Lake Bridge in Cazenovia and continues for 6.738 miles and ends at Wisconsin Highway 33 in Laval. It's located in Richland and Sauk counties. One reason we need this project is the extent of the pavement deterioration along Wisconsin Highway 58. The current pavement is showing aging and signs of deterioration with alligator cracking and rutting. Both photos show the extensive cracking and rutting along Wisconsin Highway 58. This pavement deterioration not only looks bad, but also causes Wisconsin Highway 58 to have poor ride quality. The roadway was last serviced in 1999 from the Richland-Sauk County line to Wisconsin Highway 33, and in 2002 from Wisconsin Highway 154 to the Richland-Sauk County line. This project is also needed as some of the existing guardrail end terminals are a safety concern. Some of the existing guardrail has end terminals like the photo shown in the right. These existing guardrail end terminals will be replaced with the energy absorbing terminals shown in the photo on the left, which are standard on all Wisconsin Department of Transportation projects now. The energy absorbing terminals have shown to be safer in crash testing if a vehicle happens to leave the traveled way and strike the end of the guardrail section. Another need for this project is to increase the radius of the West Main Street intersection in Laval to provide a safer turning movement for large trucks. The existing turning radius is too small and results in trucks using the oncoming southbound lane for turning. Another need for this project is that the existing super elevation on the curve along Laval Mill Pond is highly variable, thus complicating paving operations during construction. To improve constructability, the centerline profile will be lowered over a 375-foot stretch in the middle of the curve. Also, the southbound shoulder will be raised to a consistent elevation throughout the curve. This helps the contractor install the guardrail at a consistent height along the corridor. This project is also needed as the curb ramps located in the villages of Cazenovia, Ironton, and Laval are not compliant with the Americans with Disabilities Act. The photo on the left is of a curb ramp at the North Street intersection in Cazenovia, which does not have a curb cut, ramp, or detectable warning field. The photo on the right is of a curb ramp at the 4th Street intersection in Ironton, which does not have a detectable warning field. These photos highlight the inadequacy of the curb ramps along Wisconsin Highway 58. Another need for the project is the poor condition of culverts along Wisconsin Highway 58. Within the project limits, there are 2 culvert pipes that need replacement as identified by Wisconsin Department of Transportation maintenance staff. The culvert in the photo on the right transports water from a tributary to the Cazenovia Branch River, and it is important for the culvert to permit flow to the river. The proposed project along Wisconsin Highway 58 includes a 4-inch resurface from Lee Lake Bridge to West Main Street in Laval, as shown in red, and a 2-inch resurface from West Main Street to Wisconsin Highway 33, as shown in blue. Resurfacing includes removing 2 or 4 inches of existing surface and paving back 2 or 4 inches of new asphaltic material. The proposed project also includes reconstruction of a 375-foot section of the curve along Laval Mill Pond, as shown in purple, replacing guardrail at bridges near Pearson and Brimmer Road and along Laval Mill Pond, as shown in yellow, replacing 2 culverts after the Richland-Sauk County line, as shown in green, widening the turning radius at West Main Street in Laval, as shown in black, and updating curb ramps in Cazenovia, Ironton, and Laval. The next collection of slides will explain each proposed improvement, first showing the typical sections of Wisconsin Highway 58 and the reconstruction, Second, explaining the widened turning radius in Laval. Third, explaining the drainage improvements. Fourth, explaining guardrail updates. And finally, explaining the curb ramp improvements. Here are two typical sections in the project limits. The first is one of the sections with a 4-inch mill-in overlay on one of the urban sections of Wisconsin Highway 58. The second is of the 2-inch mill-in overlay in Laval. Here is the reconstruct typical section on the curve along Laval Mill Pond. The proposed work will rebuild the typical section by adding an additional sub-base layer and thickening the base layer. The proposed improvements will also consist of widening the turning radius at the West Main Street intersection by shifting the curb line 7 feet from the existing curb and gutter. This keeps trucks within the northbound lane while turning right. Wisconsin Department of Transportation maintenance staff reviewed the status of the culverts along the Wisconsin Highway 58 corridor and identified 2 culverts that needed replacement. The drainage conditions were analyzed to determine the size of the proposed culverts. The proposed culverts will be replaced with the same size culvert currently in place, and concrete apron end walls will be added. Existing guardrail will be replaced, extended as needed, and energy-absorbing terminals will be added. Additional grading will be done around the guardrail to meet Wisconsin Department of Transportation specifications. Next, I'll discuss the curb ramp improvements along the project in Cazenovia. The locations of the curb ramps that are proposed to be improved to meet Americans with Disabilities Act standards are at the following locations: Cazenovia Street and North Street. The curb ramp improvements will consist of reconfiguring the intersection crosswalks and adding curb ramps at North Street. At the Cazenovia Street intersection, the southeast and southwest quadrant curb and gutter will be bumped out for the curb ramps to meet compliance. 2 north-to-south crossings will be added and the east-to-west crossings will be updated. At North Street, a curb cut will be created to bring the ramp to street level. A receiving ramp in the northeast quadrant will be added, as well as an east-to-west crossing from the curb ramp island. Next, I'll discuss the curb ramp improvements in Ironton. The locations of the curb ramps that are proposed to be improved to meet Americans with Disabilities Act standards are at the following locations: 5th Street to 1st Street, Main Street, and State Lane. At the 5th Street to 1st Street intersections, the ramps will be updated and detectable warning fields will be added. We are adding a crossing at Main Street and State Lane. At Main Street, we are adding a crossing to provide access to the businesses in the northwest quadrant that are across from the park. At State Lane, the existing sidewalk terminates and does not provide safe access to Cowboy Bar. We are adding 4 ramps to provide access: 1 ramp down to State Lane, 2 ramps between State Lane and Mill Street, and a receiving ramp by the bar. Next, I'll discuss the curb ramp improvements in Laval. The locations of the curb ramps that are proposed to be improved to meet Americans with Disabilities Act standards are at the following locations: Minnie Creek Road, North River, West Main Street / West North Street, and the Wisconsin Highway 33 intersection. At Minnie Creek Road, we are removing the steps in the southeast quadrant, as well as the steps, retaining wall, and sidewalk in the southwest quadrant. We are wrapping the sidewalk in the southwest quadrant farther around the corner, replacing the curb and gutter and tying it into the existing asphalted curb and gutter, and shifting the ramp in the southeast quadrant further to the south for flatter slopes. At North River, we are replacing the washed-out sidewalk from the 2018 flooding event. Both ramps are being updated with detectable warning fields. At West Main Street, we are adding a north-to-south crossing across West Main Street and 1 across Wisconsin Highway 58. After widening the turning radius, the ramps for the east-to-west crossing will be updated. Similarly, the ramps for the east-to-west crossing across West North Street will be updated. At the Wisconsin Highway 33 intersection, we are adding 2 ramps for a north-to-south crossing by the RE/MAX building. We are shifting the ramp in the southwest quadrant away from the fire department driveway, as the ramp must have separation from the driveway to meet compliance. Also, the existing ramp and 2 other mid-block crossings just before this intersection will be removed. The The receiving ramp in the northwest will be shifted to match the southwest ramp, and the patio space will be updated to remove obstacles in order to meet Americans with Disabilities Act standards. Last, the ramps for the east to west crossing across Wisconsin Highway 58 will be updated. Moving on from the design overview, there is a piece of general project information to cover. Hazardous mailboxes are ornamental or heavy mailboxes, and they pose as a roadside hazard. They should be replaced with standard posts. Ornamental mailboxes are not crash tested and may cause serious damage to the passenger and vehicle. Standard posts are crash tested and will break upon impact, so the mailbox will deal less damage to the vehicle and passenger. During construction, traffic along Wisconsin Highway 58 will be controlled with flagging operations and will be reduced to one lane. Intersections with curb ramp construction will be closed for 2 to 3 days. Pedestrian detours will be provided. Recent activities for the project include sending initial coordination letters in March, holding a 30% plan review mid-November, receiving the Environmental Hazardous Material Report, which identified soil contamination near the Albus Bar and Grill in Cazenovia, as well as the Remax building in Laval, drafting our environmental report, and recently holding our local officials meeting on Monday, December 7th. The next steps for the project are to finish drafting the environmental report, and we anticipate the report to be signed by late April or early May. The right-of-way plat is anticipated to be done by August 2021, and the real estate acquisition will start once the right-of-way plat is complete. The locations where right-of-way is needed is at the curb ramp locations mentioned. The plans for the project should be finalized by August 2023, and construction is anticipated to begin the next summer. Thank you for taking your time to watch this presentation. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns about this project, please send us an email, give us a call, or send us mail to the Wisconsin Department of Transportation Southwest Region Office in Madison. Thank you for your time and have a great day.